Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. Licensed lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island Licensed Lender. License number 2011280L. Call for additional details.
From the 10, second and 8. From the 10, second and 18. Thibodeau got there, got the ball out, scooped it and scored! Touchdown Giants! Kayvon Thibodeau! Snap Saquon Barkley. He'll take it to the left, and Barkley will score!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Jawing About the G-Men, Giants Football Podcast. I'm Big Jace, joined by King Zay and Sean Scanlon. And it feels good. Giants, what was it, 4 games, 5-game winless streak, 5 out of the last 6. Rough streak there. Get back in the win column. And boy, like, Sean, you texted me during the game, your boy, Kayvon Thibodeau. I was up his ass the past couple weeks, and this was his coming out moment. And he has arrived in this league. But the thing is like, it can't just be primetime games. Yeah, that's cool. That's flashy for you to do that stuff. But this needs to be an every week type of thing. And Kayvon Thibodeau's doing great. I hope this could be a launching off point. But, yeah, that was great. Obviously, Saquon Barkley, I think a big thing. You need to give the ball to Saquon Barkley. When the game matters the most. I think you've seen that all year. Think of all the Giants' wins when they were on that streak. What was happening? What those last touchdowns, bunch for Saquon Barkley. He was the exclamation point, giving the Giants the lead, giving them the go-ahead touchdown in a lot of their wins this year. I think you need to give them the ball, like we saw when they were struggling. Got into the end zone, and then obviously that drive where he was just spinning out of control like a tornado all over the place. But it was great. Now Sean and I were talking a little bit about this before we got in here, but we'll get to the preview this week. But Giants, even though this was a big game as far as playoff implications go, there's still work that needs to be done. But, Sean, what did you think of this game?
Yeah, this was huge in terms of us, making a run to the playoffs. Obviously, if we lose, we're down to about 33%. With the win, we're about 90%. So, really, if we get one more win, we're on a pretty good pace to get there. And obviously, I think we could definitely do it against the Colts. And the Vikings, they haven't looked as hot lately. They play in close games as well, just like the Giants do. So maybe we could find a way to win that game. And then the Eagles, the last week, they'll probably be resting their starters at that point. They'll probably have locked up the 1 seed. So I think there's definitely a path for us. But I mean, this is what we needed to do. We need to take care of the in-division game. Obviously, I think they had a bad taste in their mouth after tying with them the first time to the Commanders. So Kayvon Thibodeau, like you said, NFC Defensive Player of the Week, really was his first big moment in the NFL. He showed up huge. Saquon, like you said, closing out the game, being the closer. Daniel Jones had a pretty solid game himself, too. A lot of big third down conversions, even that fourth down conversion. And this front four is looking very scary, especially when they're all at full health. Aziz has had at least a half a sack every game he's been healthy. Big games from Dexter and Leo, too. And if we get Dory Jackson back this week, hopefully we get Xavier McKinney back before the playoffs begin. This defense could be very scary going into the playoffs, so hoping those guys get healthy. But I think the way that we won this game is how we won the games early on in the season was, playing smart football, not turning the ball over, getting turnovers on defense, making a couple big third and fourth down conversions. So this was the formula that we saw the Giants win all these games early on. So if we can continue to do this, I think it's definitely a good look heading into the postseason where hopefully, maybe we can make some noise.
Yeah, and I mentioned it when they drafted Thibodeau, and I've seen it a lot, especially after that game. A lot of people drawing the comparisons to like the 2011 D-line to this D-line. I know this is young. They're young, but they have that potential, I think, and anything can happen. Yeah, and especially getting the X-Man back and Dory Jackson helping out that secondary. This could be something scary. But Zay, where are your thoughts about the Giants after this win?
I've been the same spot I've been all year. I'm comfortable with them making the playoffs. I'm comfortable with them not making the playoffs. I haven't forgotten that this is still a rebuild team that is very much overachieving, and we're all happy with it, and I'm rolling with it. But again, I don't want to overstate the Giants. I don't want to understate them. I don't know what their ceiling is this year. I don't want to say the Giants, have no chance and then they go on a miracle run. Who knows? I don't want to be that person because, again, we've seen it last year with the Bengals, a team we thought was completely out of it. And then, within the last couple of weeks of the season, they just get hot and they just run through the whole entire playoffs. So you never really know what the situation you never know what the situation is going to be. And again, who you end up matching up against in the playoffs, if you get there, that could also be a huge thing based on who the Giants can be, whether it's Tampa Bay, whether it's San Francisco, because again, I don't think Tampa Bay is really that good, and I don't think San Francisco without a quarterback, I think they're very beatable. But again, that's conversation for down the line. I don't want to get way ahead of myself. Let's get into the playoffs first. But I think last night we saw that, you saw the Giants, the difference between a healthy team, a team getting healthy and a team that wasn't healthy the week before when they played them before the bye. And that's really what you got a chance to see. They rested some guys against the Eagles. Guys got healthy. They got guys ready for this game. And you saw the team that we look more like the team we saw in the beginning of the year that was winning close games and getting it done. As far as Kayvon Thibodeau, Kayvon's been playing actually really well the last couple of weeks. I think with the, Aziz coming back.
Thank you, Zay.
I think with Aziz coming back, it's also made it even better because now he has, they become a really good tandem. You've seen even on the sack play, there was communication between the two right before the play, and then it led to the sack, actually. Basically, he's telling him, hey, I'm going to rush deep. You step up just in case, you don't go too deep just in case, he steps up in the pocket. It worked out perfectly because he didn't step up in the pocket, and we were able to get the touchdown. But, again, credit to Washington. Washington is a playoff team. They are really good. If Washington could find a quarterback, they could be a really good team in this league, honestly. I really do think they have a really good core receiver. They have some really good running backs, and they have a really solid defense. If that team could find a quarterback, they could be a team to shake things up. So credit to them, and there's no discredit to the Giants time with them a couple of weeks because I think people aren't giving the Washington Commanders the credit they deserve because there are a lot worse teams in this league that get more praise than the Washington Commanders do. So, but as far as the Giants, again, I'm confident. I'm happy where we are. I want to, shout out to Daniel Jones. He made great throws. He made huge throws down the stretch, 4th and 9s, 3rd and 9s, plays that Daniel Jones, we're not accustomed to him normally making. He goes out there, he makes them. He does it with these guys off the streets. We mention it all the time. He doesn't have the elite receiving core in the league. He doesn't even have the core he started the year with. And again, he found a way to get the job done, get these guys the ball, and they were able to get the ball down the field. It doesn't look pretty. He doesn't throw for 3 touchdowns and 250 and all that. It doesn't, but he's been managing this offense. He's been doing everything the coaches have been asking for him, and it's paid off. And the Giants are in a really good position going down the stretch because of it. So kudos to Daniel Jones, who I think is going to be the quarterback for the Giants for at least another 5 years, I would say.
I don't know about 5 years, but he's definitely. I think at this point, all the Daniel Jones talk is out of the way. The real question is, I think going into the offseason, what's it going to look like paying both of them, and are you still going to have enough to get something else out of it?
If you can get him on a discount, it helps. That's the idea of getting a guy like this. You can get him on a discount. You have him here. You can franchise him for a year. You can do these type of things. If you can't come to an agreement, if you feel like he is someone you can move forward with, then don't get it wrong. The Giants could still draft a quarterback in the draft, and no one would bat an eye. They'd be just protecting themselves just in case Daniel isn't the guy.
100%. But I will say, and also I on the Daniel Jones thing, they signed Tyrod Taylor for 2 years, so I think that is going to be the testing point. Like, that was one of the first things Joe Shane did was, okay, so here we have this guy. We can bring Tyrod Taylor in just to back him up. He's going to have these 2 years, and then that third year is going to be – so I see a franchise tag coming from Daniel Jones. But that's off-season talk. The Giants are still relevant, so that's for way down the future till the Giants are relevant. But one more thing before we move off this game. I know a lot of Commanders fans are pissed off at the refs, especially for that illegal formation call on Terry McLaurin.
The right call.
No, the ref doesn't know the play. You're supposed to know where you're supposed to be. And also, like, am I wrong? There was motion in that play too, right?
There was slot receiver motion, but there was no tight end on the end, which means he had to move up on the line afterwards.
Exactly.
He didn't move up.
So that's on Terry McLaurin. The ref isn't supposed to know that there's going to be motion, so that's on him. I don't know why you're complaining about that. That pick play down in the red zone too, that was called that. Don't get mad. I mean, that is what it was. It was incidental, but stuff like that happens.
Like you call for it every week, I feel like.
Yeah, but So, I understand your gripes, but especially that Terry McLaurin one. That's ridiculous. People are freaking out about that. That's stupid. I understand the ref gave him the thumbs up, but you got to understand the play. The ref doesn't know what's coming. And before we one more thing before we move on, the past couple weeks, my crosshair, they start off on Daniel Jones, then it was on Kayvon Thibodeau. Going into the Vikings game, my crosshairs, who I'm going to be watching with a microscope and needs to step up, Evan Neal. You've had your time back from your injury. He had a couple flags there in that last game. I think he could be a real dominant force on the O-line, and I think this is going to be a game where he can start picking it up. Vikings defense isn't anything spectacular. I don't want to see it. I think he can have a real great game. And also, Azeez Ojulari, I think, is also another guy who can – yeah. I need to see him do a little bit more as well. Yeah?
Dude, he has like 3.5 sacks in his first 3 games back.
I understand, but listen.
Did you see the line at the end of the game? They were almost solid. They
were. But I think Azeez Ojulari can do a little bit more. Same like what I'm saying with Evan Neal. The real person on the hot seat right now for me is Evan Neal. But both of them coming back from injury, this is now they're completely reacclimated. I expect them to be.
Have you seen John Feliciano?
How about Feliciano?
Have you seen Lewinsky play? Are you serious?
No, I'm looking at expectations. Evan Neal was a beast. His whole entire Alabama career, he let up 2 sacks or something.
Jeez, this is the NFL.
I know. And I think right now, this is the perfect time for him to start turning that corner and getting back to the dominance and understanding the game more. That's what I'm looking for. Kayvon Thibodeau showed that. Now I'm looking for Evan Neal to show that. No, I'm not.
His attributes. How you gonna?
Hey, look at what's happened though. When I start dissing people, they show up. when
Don't
I start
compare
going at
Kayvon
him,
Thibodeau and Evan Neal. You can't do that. There's two different positions.
What do you-
There's two different sides of the ball.
what is
Two
that?
different skill
I
sets.
understand the impact of the game, though, Zay. That you can impact the game both ways equally.
Yes,
On both sides of the
understandable.
football.
But the learning curve for a defensive end and the learning curve for an offensive lineman are two different. You cannot put
Listen, Zay.
once you figure things out, and that's what
Agreed.
I'm saying. Kayvon is starting to figure things out. Once he figures things out, how he wants to rush, how he wants to approach, it's working for him. Whether he wants to go across the corner and bend, whether he wants to sweep, or whether he wants to do one of the swim moves, whatever those are easy to master. Blocking and picking up blocking schemes and knowing which guys to always pick up and making sure your guy next to you is on the same page. That all doesn't come in a year.
Zay, you don't think I played O-line? I understand all that stuff.
Not to mention,
Listen.
going up against the best defensive fronts in the league. Let's not forget this. He's not playing,
I understand
the guys
that.
at the bottom of the division. He's playing again. The Lions, really good defensive front. Washington Commanders, we talk about it. Really good defensive front. The Eagles, don't shake
pull
off
off
the Lions
the
because
Lions right off the rip.
What the Giants do right now.
Aiden Hutchinson has been okay, but that defensive front isn't like. I'll give you Washington. I'll give you because
the Eagles, the Lions, Dallas Cowboys. These are
I'll give you the NFC, not the Lions, though, Zay. They've been tough, but listen. If Kayvon Thibodeau's making those steps, I think Evan Neal can. That's all I'm saying.
It's two different learning curves, bro. You can't compare it.
Listen.
You cannot compare it.
It doesn't matter. He's still a freak athlete. I still want to see him pancaking, demolishing people. There's no learning curve with that.
He's doing fine. He's doing fine in the run game. It's just pass protection. He's been shaky. I mean, Montez Sweat had him learning to pick up which guy.
Terrible. Guys are doing twists. They're doing stunts. They're doing all types.
I understand that.
Defenses. He has to learn. He has to learn these things. These aren't things you're going to pick up in 1 year. He'll see these things, and then next year he'll learn how to face it or how to defend it from watching film and going over it. You're not going to.
It's not that crazy for me to expect him to start doing good, Zay. That's insane for you to think. I understand that there's a learning curve. Yeah, it might be a little bit harder. But he can start. We're 16 weeks into the season, Zay. We're 16 weeks into the season. Stuff can start clicking.
When you've seen the progression of Andrew Thomas, and he was terrible his first year. And now he's one of the best in the league.
But that's Evan Neal. I'm talking about Evan Neal. I'm not talking about Andrew Thomas.
Yes,
and also look at Andrew Thomas also did start to put it together at the end of
Evan Neal just missed a month and a half due to injury, though.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. This is the part where he starts. That's what I'm saying. This is the part from his injury. He starts getting back. He starts understanding it. Like, look at the first week. The beginning of the season, he had that game against the Cowboys, and then he started redeeming himself. This was a tough one with the penalties. I don't like that. I expect him to redeem himself. That's all I'm saying. I expect him to do good, but I'm happy to say that he's the guy that's on my crosshair because the Giants are doing good right now. I understand. I'm not going to put all the bums that are expected to be bums. I'm looking at the guys who we expect to be great, and that's who I want more out of. I'm okay with more of the bums. I don't care about Tay Crowder. I'm not going to expect more out of Tay Crowder.
Well, he's not a Giant anymore.
We're not worry about Tay Crowder no more.
Collins or Jalen Smith. I don't care about those fossils. I want the young guys to start turning the corner and show that they are the future.
How old? Wait a minute. Okay.
What?
Landon Collins is a fossil now?
Yeah, neither of those dudes are even 30 yet.
In the league, they're fossils. What's the lifespan of the league? 2 years? Average career, if that?
2 years.
It's not that long, Zay. But all right, let's get into this Vikings game. Listen. We'll end up going in circles all night. You know how you and me go, Zay. Like we'll just be going in circles. Let's move on to the Vikings. Vikings. They lost 2 weeks ago against the Lions. Lions playing good. Obviously started with the Giants. But they struggled last Saturday against the Colts. The Jeff Saturday on Saturday game. Is this the perfect opportunity for the Giants to steal a victory against a team that is tied with the second best record in the NFL, Sean?
I think it's a winnable game, honestly. I mean, you have to stop Justin Jefferson. That's number one. He's the best receiver in the league. So getting Adoree Jackson back, it's not looking like we're going to get him back this week. So I don't really trust in Fabian Moreau against him. Fabian Moreau had a decent start to the season, but he's kind of been tailing off lately. So that's priority number one. But as far as his defense goes, they can be scored on, and we've seen that. The whole second half of the season, this Vikings defense has not, been able to stop anyone, especially in the passing game. So I think this is a big opportunity for Daniel Jones to go out there. Maybe this is the game where we see him throw for over 250 yards. We see him get involved in the passing a lot more. Yeah, I know it's shocking, but I mean, the good thing about Mike Kafka and Brian Dable is they know how to utilize their strengths against teams that can't stop it. They know how to get the best out of their offense against opposing defenses. So I think we do see that a lot. Similar to the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving, I think we see a lot of passing on early downs. See a lot of passing in the first half. I think this is how it's going to go. And then obviously, if we're in a tight game at the end, give it to your closer, Saquon Barkley, like we saw in this game. So I do expect to see a lot of Daniel Jones this game. Hopefully, guys like Isaiah Hodgins can step up again, Richie James, who have been both playing well pretty lately. So I think it's a winnable game. We just have to stay within reach. If our defense could keep them under, say, 21, 24 points, I think we can absolutely win this game. It's not like the Vikings are world beaters. If you look at their point differential, it's only +2, so they're in a lot of tight games like the Giants are as well. So I think it's if we can keep it close, defense can somewhat stop Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. I think we could definitely go out there and shock the world on this one and come out with a dub.
Jesus, shock.
Do you know? Maybe, but do you know there's one other? There's one other team in the positive as far as point differential that is less than the Vikings. Do you know who that is?
Dolphins
+1. That's crazy. But Zay, what do you expect from this game?
Yeah, not as morbid as Sean. I do agree with the fact that the Vikings, I don't believe they're world beaters. And if I'm being honest, if the Colts have a real coach, someone who actually knows what he's doing and not someone just trying to play Madden on the fly, we're talking about the Vikings coming into is probably on a 2-game losing streak, and the Giants possibly being not even the underdogs, probably the favorites in the game. But obviously, based on the fact that the Colts have no coach and they have Matt Ryan, who is obviously cursed, they blew the biggest lead in NFL history. Amazing. But no, I do think the Giants could pull this one off. I think it comes down to the secondary. It's going to take these guys, Pinnock, Monroe, McLeod, all these guys in Love. They got to get on the same page. They got to lessen the holdings and the pass interference calls, because obviously we're talking about Thielen, we're talking about Justin Jefferson, we're talking about the tight end. I can't remember his name. It eludes me. Hawkinson or whatever.
Hawkinson, yeah.
Hawkinson, something like that. Yeah. They have a plethora of weapons, and then we're not even haven't even talked about Cook. Obviously, he's a weapon on his own. So if the Giants could stop the run and the secondary and get on the same page, yeah, I agree with Sean. They could beat them. We've seen the Giants win these games. The Giants don't have to score 28 points. The Giants have shown you that all this year. They just have to stop you on defense and score more points than you, which is logical football. So I think it's possible. I'm not going to pick a winner, obviously. This could go either way. So I'm just going to leave it all alone right now. My emotions is riding with the Giants. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to pick a winner. But again, I will say the Giants can win this game. I don't want to jinx it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Superstitious, bro. I'm not picking no winner for the rest of the year.
Then. All right, Zay. But I will say the secondary does need to step up. Also, I don't want to I don't want to say this wrong, but it's not that hard, especially with the pass rush that the Giants have been getting. The secondary, you don't need to hold your assignment that long. You don't need to stay with your man that long, because these guys are there. And but the thing is that they're getting burned so quickly that Kayvon Thibodeau, Aziz, all these guys can't get home. They're getting the pressures and that stuff. So
Wait.
what? What's that?
No.
What's
You
that?
hit yourself in reverse logic. You just said they don't got to wait long. Then you said the line can't get there in time. Huh?
No, yeah. That's the thing, because they're getting burnt. You got to be able to stay with your guy for at least a couple seconds so the line can get there. That's how the defense runs through the front four for the Giants. And if they can I have faith in them to stop the run when they need to. Now it's getting after the quarterback. What?
No, I don't. That's one thing I don't have right now is faith. In the Giants.
They've been terrible against the run.
It's one thing I can't agree with that. They cannot stop the run. They have not been able to stop the run the last couple of weeks. Everybody's putting up. Look at the last few weeks. The Dallas Cowboys.
You're right, but when teams are running the football on us,
Williams, the Eagles.
But when teams are running the football on us, and they aren't necessarily successful in the past, that's when you turn it into a field goal battle. And like we saw last week. So I think that can happen, and that's the best way. Like, don't die too much from the air and focus more on stopping, giving up the run than you are giving up the pass. That's all I'm saying.
That's how Justin Jefferson goes for 300 yards.
Not getting into it.
Whatever. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be interesting. Christmas Eve. Does that count as prime time? It is, even though it's 1:00. It is Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve.
How did they get the 1:00 slot? That doesn't make sense.
The NFL schedule is so bad on Christmas Eve. They have 8 1:00 games and only 2 4:00 games.
Hold on. They've been bad all year, not just Christmas
Eve.
They've been bad all year with prime time games. But did you think a game like that should be put at the later with so much playoff implications for so many teams?
I mean, not really, though.
Yes, it is, because the Giants, obviously, the Giants lose, it still opens the door for the Lions, the Seahawks, the Washington Commanders. So many other teams still have a chance to make the playoffs. But the Giants win and those teams lose the next day, it just puts more pressure on them also. But I'm just saying there's implications there.
This isn't the primetime game, say. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying it's the primetime Sunday game, but I think at least Saturday. Like, who else is playing Saturday? Who else has that much, on the line?
All right, let me check it out right now.
I think the Raiders are playing Saturday night.
Jesus, they have nothing to play for.
Yeah, Raiders Pittsburgh. That's a rough one. Philly Dallas. That's what they should have done. Like, honestly, it
Philly Dallas means nothing because Philly basically wrapped up everything.
No, because then if Philly loses, especially Jalen Hurts being banged up, they could drop something here, and Dallas could take the 1 seed. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Okay, I guess, but still, was that the late game?
Yeah, no, that's a 4:30 game.
That's a 4.
No, Raiders.
It's
Raiders,
dropping
Steelers.
the ball.
Raiders,
Steelers, Raiders, bro. Oh my god!
Honestly, the most interesting primetime game is tomorrow night, Thursday night. Jags at Jets. There's a lot of playoff implications online.
Big games.
That is a big game for your Jets, say.
The fingers that can't be shown on air.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that's gonna do it for us today. Let's go Giants. Let's hope we can get back next week talking about a dub, because that'd be fun, especially against the Vikings.
We could the Giants could clinch this week too.
Giants clinch this week. We start looking forward to the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
If they win, Washington loses, and then either the Seahawks or Lions have to lose. But there's a possibility.
They can
happen. Keep your eyes open.
This would be the first time the Giants make the playoffs in this show's history. That's crazy. We get to talk about playoff football. That's cool.
I never thought I'd see the day.
That's when Joe will pop back up. Let me stop.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Big shout out to Chris Sawyer and Annie Mac Home Mortgage for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure you check out clovercrestmedia.com for a bunch of other great podcasts as well. I'm Big Jace. That's King Zay, and that's Sean Scanlon. And that's been Jawing About the G-Men. We'll see you next week to talk more Giants football. Peace out, everyone.
From the 10, second and 18. Thibodeau got there, got the ball out, scooped it and scored. Touchdown Giants, Kayvon Thibodeau. Snap Saquon Barkley. He'll take it to the left, and Barkley will score.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.